I paid £99.90 for this bivvy tent, but is it the best budget bivvy tent under £100? Let's take a closer look and see what we get for our money. Hi and welcome to Outdoors with Richard, and thank you for joining me for this video. So let's start with a component breakdown. So we get the storage bag, which is also a drawstring storage bag. It has a couple of compression straps on it. Now when it comes to the length of the storage bag, it comes in at 35 centimeters and the width comes in at 13 centimeters. Now the packed weight of the storage bag, so that's the storage bag and everything you get when you purchase this bivvy tent, comes in at 1,000 grams. Right, let's open this bag up and see what we have inside. So you get a single walled tent. Now this tent on its own without guy lines attached will weigh in at 800 grams. However, if you attach the guy lines, it comes in at 850 grams. You get a total of 7 reflective guy lines. You also get a peg storage bag, and inside the little storage bag you get 11 aluminium pegs. Now when it comes to the setup of this bivvy tent, it's pretty straightforward. You can either use a ridge line between 2 trees, or you can use trekking poles, or you can use sticks. I personally use a combination of trekking poles and sticks because I find it the most straightforward and the quickest way of setting up this bivvy. Now looking at the bivvy here, you have this really nice awning that goes across the top. Now this also doubles up as your outer door, which can be completely zipped up. If you weren't using, say in this case, the sticks at the front and you just want your bivvy open at the front, you can roll this awning up and it can be toggled up at the top. Now looking at the awning, this will not only protect you from the sun, but it'll also protect you from the rain. It's got a nice angle to it, so that rain will just simply run straight off the top of the awning. Now if you get that driving rain, obviously the rain could come underneath this little awning, so you might have to just remove your sticks or your poles and completely close the bivvy up. Or alternatively, on the side here you do have a separate piece of fabric that can be rolled down, and that will protect you from, say, the rain coming in from this angle, and that looks like this. So when it comes to the fabric of this tent, the top of this bivvy and all the walls are made from a 1.1 ounce seal nylon ripstop, which has a hydrostatic head rating of 3,000 millimeters. When it comes to the floor of this bivvy, it is made from a 40 denier ripstop nylon, and it has a hydrostatic head rating of between 4 and 5,000 millimeters. Now the reason I say between 4 and 5,000 millimeters is because if you go onto the Onewind website and Amazon, they both say 4 and 5,000, so it's one or the other. Now also when it comes to all the seams in this bivvy, they're all taped, so waterproofing is not an issue for this bivvy tent. I can honestly say over the 6 months I've used this bivvy tent, it's been out numerous times in the rain, and I've never had any water get in this bivvy tent. I've also looked online at many reviews, and I haven't come across one review that said that they've had an issue with the waterproofing of this tent. So when the heavens open, you will be sure to be kept nice and dry while inside this bivy tent. Right, let's talk ventilation and condensation. When it comes to ventilation and condensation, obviously the more ventilation you have, the less condensation you're going to get. With this bivy tent, you get a lot of ventilation. First of all, right at the front here, you can see a really big mesh inner door, which can be totally unzipped and rolled up and toggled at the top. So that's going to let in a lot of air. Also at the back of this bivy, you can see another little mesh window. And also right at the top, at the head end, there is a little air vent at the top. Now, if I take you around the back of the bivy, just above the little mesh window at the back, it does have a rain fly over it, as you can see, so no rain will get in that rear window. And there is also a little rain vent above the roof vent, which can be just propped open, as you can see there, with a little support. Now, the front mesh door, as I said, can be fully unzipped and rolled up. The back mesh window can't be opened. However, the little mesh vent at the top by your roof vent can be unzipped from the inside. Now, all the mesh on this bivy is made from a no-seam mesh, which apparently has 1,600 holes per square inch. So plenty of ventilation is going to get through there, through those little holes, but also those holes are close enough that it's also going to keep out any little insects. Right, let's take a closer look at the inside of this bivy. I've rolled the awning and the inner mesh door up so we can have a good look inside this tent. So the length of this bivy tent comes in at 210 centimeters. The height at the head end, which is the highest point, comes in at 100 centimeters, and then the width at the widest point, which is at the head end, also comes in at 100 centimeters. Now, the height at the lowest end, which is the foot end, comes in at 80 centimeters, and then the width at the foot end, which is the narrowest part of this bivy, comes in at 60 centimeters. Now, inside this bivy tent, you also get a couple of storage pockets, as you can see, and also, as I showed you earlier, you do get the roof vent, which can be accessed by a zip at the top of the tent. Right, I'm going to get in this tent to show you what it looks like when I'm in it. Now, getting in this bivy is really not a problem, especially when the outer and inner door are both rolled up. Now, obviously, if you have the awning, you'll just have to bend down a little bit. Now, let's look at the height, the internal height. Now, me sitting in the corner here, my head is not quite touching the ceiling. I'm 6'2" or 188 centimeters. So yeah, it's more than enough room to sit up in. If I lie down in this bivy, there is plenty of room to lie down. My head and my feet are not touching the top or the bottom of this bivy. There's also plenty of room to move around, and you're not touching the walls either side. Obviously the front's open, but when it is closed, you won't be touching the walls. So plenty of room inside this bivy for one person. Now, obviously I'm not using a sleep system. I would say that the sleep system which would be the best to use in this bivy tent would be a mummy style sleeping bag and a mummy style sleeping mat, quite simply because this bivy, the width tapers at the end. Right, let me give you a bit more information about this bivy. So when you buy this bivy tent, it just comes in the one color, which is this olive green color, which is a really nice color. This bivy tent is a 3-season bivy tent. However, I would comfortably use it as a 3/4-season bivy. You could easily use this in the spring, the summer, the autumn, and I'd say the early winter. Now, with this bivy tent, when it comes to the zips on this bivy tent, they work absolutely fine and they're pretty smooth. However, they do tend to catch on this fabric a little bit. I just think it's the type of fabric that they use on this single walled bivy. I think it seems to be a bit of a problem with all single wall tents. So you just need to take your time when opening these zips. Now, when it comes to the guy lines, I did mention these are effective guy lines. I know for some people, you know, if they're doing a bit of bushcraft and they're using this bivy tent, or they're doing a bit of stealth camping, you know, obviously they're not going to want reflective guy lines. Well, that's an easy fix. They can just be changed out for a bit of paracord or a different color guideline of your choice. I do have to mention, when I purchased this bivy, when I took it out the packaging, it did have a bit of a strange smell about it, but after setting this bivy up and using it a couple of times, the smell went. So if you do purchase this bivy and you think, oh, what is that smell? It might just be to do with the fabric they use, or perhaps a coating that they've put on the fabric, but it does disappear. Now, what else? When it comes to the awning, as I said, when you get the driving rain, rain can come underneath and get into this bivy. You do have that little side paneling that you can put down, but if the rain's particularly heavy, what I would do, especially if I know if there's rain coming, I normally always carry a lightweight tarp with me, and I just set a little tarp up over this bivy tent, so it gives me plenty of room to sit underneath if I want, but also the chances of rain coming into this little bivy are greatly reduced. Okay, what I would say is, if you are in the market for a really nice budget bivy tent, and perhaps the one I've shown you here today isn't for you, in a minute, before the end of this video, you will have a little window pop up here on my left hand side, and if you click that window, it will take you to my playlist of all the bivy tents and bags I've reviewed. So go and have a look at that playlist, because there might be a bivy tent or bag on there that might suit you better. But on that note, I'm going to say, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you're enjoying the channel, hit the subscribe button. Get involved in the comments section below. But until next time, thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.